Yep. Obviously, exterior, there's a lot more challenges as far as where you know,
Right.
you're pretty limited on where your stairway is right now, and that affects kind of your stage in front. So ideally, we could figure out something internal that would be beneficial and easier done. That might look at the configurations of the bathrooms and accessibility from the Lakeview room, and maybe opening up those stairs a little bit, or maybe there's opportunities within the storage areas on the backside as well.
Any idea when this will be scheduled for lighting?
That's a good question. From our standpoint, our goal would be to get a winter bid, so January, February. Some of that depends on just the ability to make decisions too. You know, if the cost is, you know, higher up there where there needs to be more discussion and more vetting of that. Ideally, the time frame that Scott said would be ideal. Get it in January or February and allow for spring. Anything that happens there would be pretty straightforward and pretty simple. So I think, you know, the construction of it wouldn't take real long.
Where I'm going with that is that there's some of this work that can be done during the winter months, during the cold weather inside, obviously.
Right.
To get a jump on it.
Mm-hmm.
The way materials and everything's falling in today's world,
Yep.
you know how it is.
Yep. And I would say if you did shoot for end of the year, beginning of 24, I think that gives you several months where any casework and carpet and that sort of thing could be procured and installed.
Yeah.
Any other comments, council? Austin, on the, before we act on the motion to approve professional services agreement, that's a fixed fee of $18,500, correct?
Correct.
Not to exceed, or?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. The only, and as you see there with some of the exclusions, the only thing that we don't have in there is some of the engineering. We want to do our assessment first to make sure that is or isn't needed. We don't, the electrical is the only area that may need some mechanical. That just depends on how far we take that, if that's more of additional outlets for, you know, what it might be, or if it's updating the service, then there's going to be consideration there. That time we'll acquire proposals and look at that. So,
Thank you, Austin. Appreciate it. All right, council entertain a motion to approve professional services agreement with the Dura Architecture with regard to the Clear Lake Municipal Band Shell Improvement Project. Motion, please.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Bennett, that we approve the professional services agreement. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I'd just like to comment. I think this is a good little project for us. I think the band shell is very important to our downtown, and as Scott mentioned, needs kind of a refresh, as I think you said, and I think it's actually a good opportunity as well for some electrical upgrades. Those are desperately needed, and thank you to Jim Jackson for paying close attention to the needs down there, and I think people will really enjoy the refresh, and then to the Lakeview room as well that gets used a lot. So really a nice little project for us. So thank you for bringing it forward, Scott.
Any further discussion?
Just a quick one. I really can't think of anything else, any structure in Clear Lake that gets more looking at than that band shell. I mean, there's eyes on it pretty much all summer long, and it's one of the things in the downtown area, kind of like the seawall, and those that pine for the old water tower that get a lot of notice. And yeah, I think it's served us well for many decades, and Lud Wamberg would be smiling down on us for keeping it alive. So thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Call the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you all. 6B, North 20th Street, new basketball court and pickleball court conversion project. Intro, Mr. Flory.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. These are the green sheets in your packet. That is a proposal from Veenstra and Kim. for professional services related to the development of this little recreation complex that we're going to talk about. Of course, we've talked about it during our budget, of course, but the next sheets after that, those green sheets are just kind of the aerial view there at North 20th Street, the municipal tennis courts, the bus garage there to the north, and of course, the existing basketball court, asphalt basketball court that's there now. On the back side of that sheet's just a concept plan of what the proposed project entails. So again, you can see west of the existing tennis courts, we would repurpose the existing basketball courts there. That would be repurposed into 6 pickleball courts. And then just west of that would be the location construction for a new basketball court that we would build in conjunction, in cooperation with our school district. So the pictures that follow that are just some current conditions of the existing basketball court. As you can see, it's fallen into a serious state of dilapidation. And so then just a few more pictures on the kind of, again, the dimensions of the pickleball courts themselves. And we just threw in a couple of pictures of some of the pickleball folks and a few of us that joined them one day for some good pickleball fellowship, I guess. So again, the green sheets are the proposals. So this is something that we requested proposals from. We got a couple of different proposals from different firms on this. Veenstra & Kim was the lowest proposer cost-wise on this, so that's why their proposal is in the packet here tonight. Just as a reminder, this is a project that we're working on in cooperation with the school district. The county, they own the property, of course. The county is actually also a contributor financially to the project, and also the local pickleball club continues their private fundraising efforts, and they've secured private funding through donations and grants that they will also contribute to this overall project. And again, this was included as a fiscal year 24 project for us, so it is in our budget. As I mentioned, the concept is to repurpose those existing basketball courts there located on North 20th Street across from the high school into 6 pickleball courts, and then again just west of that would be a new basketball court there as well. So the proposal in your packet from Veenstra & Kim is for planning, design, bidding, and construction related services. So the cost for the former is $14,250, and then not to exceed on the latter of $6,500 there. So that's all I've got in terms of an introduction. Jason is here with Veenstra & Kim, and he can review that proposal with you. If you have any questions, again, kind of we're on a similar path with this one as we are for the Bandshell project, which would be to get into design, let this for bids over the winter and construct in the spring. So,
Any questions to Scott? Thank you, Scott. Review of professional services agreement proposal. Jason Petersburg, engineer, V&K Engineering. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Scott covered the project scope really well there. The basketball court will receive new site lighting as well, the new basketball court. And we do plan on investigating some site drainage improvements. That area is wet. We all know it's wet. With the latest school project or wellness center, there was some additional storm sewer installed down there, so we may be able to connect to that to get some subsurface drainage installed there to hold that water table down to get this pavement to last. Really, the pickleball court part of the project is probably the more straightforward part. But how do we rehab that existing pavement and rehab it in a way that it's going to last 20 years or plus from now? Project scope is full design for the conversion of the existing basketball court to the pickleball court, as well as design of the new basketball court. All the surfacing, the coatings, nets, posts, etc. will all be included in the design. Once we get through the design, we'll put together some cost estimates. We'll be meeting with city staff, going through cost estimates, and if we need to, we'll refine the project scope accordingly if we're exceeding the budget too much. And then our normal process will help city advertising for bids, attend the bid opening, and then review shop drawings and perform general services during construction. And we do have included in here as well resident review services for an on-site representative That'll be primarily during any subgrade work or asphalt paving work itself. For this project, we do have a couple of engineers from outside of our office. We have an electrical engineer that'll be helping us with the street lighting, or with the basketball area lighting. And then we do have 2 landscape architects who work on these types of sports complexes, and they'll be assisting with the final design on the pickleball court. Schedule-wise, we'd like to get out there soon, get going on survey work, and then have this bid this winter for spring construction. That being said, Scott covered the compensation. Any questions?
Yes, Jason. You have the map in front of you?
Yeah.
This one? All right, are we all set there with the present infrastructure, or will there have to be underground?
Yes, we're gonna end up recommending some kind of underground drainage improvements, drain tile to keep
that's
that area dewatered. So, and there is an outlet on the east side of the existing bus garage. There is a storm sewer pipe that we'll be able to connect to. But we'd be looking at installing sub-drain from there up towards 20th Street to keep that water out of the pavement.
So with that retention pond close by, that will have nothing to do with the drainage at all?
No, that pond won't impact this. That pond is served by this other pipe on the east side of the bus garage. It was just put in when that pond was built. So
All right.
that wasn't available before.
In other words, all the, quote, sheeting that will come off all 3 of those areas will go toward that bus barn.
Correct. So combination of shaping and some drain tile work in there.
Okay, another question, between the basketball court and the pickleball courts, are those plantings, I'm trying to visualize without going by there, are those plantings still there? Those big trees, are they still there?
I believe they are.
They are, yeah.
And they will continue to stay there?
We'll confirm that with survey that everything will fit, yes.
Okay. Do we have to, the tennis courts, I can recall, we had to put screens on those back in the 70s because of the wind. Will there be screens on the pickleball courts as well?
That'll be a discussion item we'll have to have as far as the final design on the fencing and screens and item like that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think some of those items, if we get a little deeper in there, I think we had anticipated there'd be screening on those, yeah.
Yeah.
How many parking spaces approximately?
Not doing anything with the parking, so
You're not,
the
all
existing parking that's there will continue to be utilized as it is for
Okay.
both the basketball and the pickleball, along with tennis courts.
All right. I was looking at those broken blue lines over there on that north side. That's a potential.
That was, yeah, the option that was put together earlier. That the final design at this time does not include the additional parking or the bathroom stalls as part of this project.
All right.
That'd be future.
Nothing at the present time to do with hard surfacing the parking there?
No.
Okay? Okay. All right. That's all the questions that I have. Council, any further questions? All right, so I want to go to compensation here now because we're going to approve that. The first fee for design services is for items 1 through 6, and then further on down, not to exceed the $6,500 from
For the construction.
items 7 through 9. All right. So we're making a motion on a total of $20,750. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any further questions, council, of Jason?
No questions, but I'm glad to see this is getting engineered due to the drainage problems down there. Once the water table comes back to normal, it's something to really consider.
It needs to be addressed.
Yes.
The water, Mother Nature, that's what
Yeah.
wrecks these pavements.
Right
more
now
than
it's
anything
dry,
else.
but it's gonna come back. It always does.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Therefore, I entertain a motion to approve professional services agreement with Veenstra and Kim in a total amount of $20,750. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Bennett, seconded by Dana, that we approve the professional services agreement with V&K. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you. 6C, South 15th Street, Everybody Plays Park and Inclusive Playground Project, review of pay estimate number 7. Mr. Flory.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. The gold sheet there in your packet addresses this item. As Mayor indicated, this is pay estimate number 7 for this project. So for the period ending July 28th, just as a reminder, the original contract amount was just under $2 million, $1,997,500. We did have a change order, which was a deduction. It was electrical modification, so that reduced the overall scope down to $1,994,368.45. The contract items that have been completed to date total almost $615,000, you can see there on the pay estimate. We subtract the 5% retainage out of that, so we arrive at a net there of $583,394.41. We have previously paid $450,775.36, so that leaves a current request for payment on this application, and this is after application of the retainage of the 5%, so that is $132,619.05. So the pre-retainage amount was $139,599. So again, this pay estimate is $132,619.05. That remains, the remaining amount on the contract is $1,410,974.04. So we flip over again to the next sheet. You can again see kind of the same information I gave you previously. So again, the work completed for this pay period is the amount you see there in that first, second, third, fourth column over there, the $139,599 amount there. So looking at the next sheet, again, if we look at the work completed for this period, we'll just kind of go through those real quick. Essentially, a lot of this was the concrete work that's been done, some masonry work, also some getting close to having most of the steel work done, and then just doors and frames that have been delivered to the site, and then a little electrical work. So again, that totals the just nearly $140,000, $139,599 on this pay estimate. So again, the net amount on this pay estimate is $132,619.05. Did also include there at the back just the construction progress meeting minutes that we had from the meeting on August 15th, and just in terms of the schedule, of course, this is a completion date of September 15th. So they do have currently, I think, about 4 or 5 different crews working on this. So I didn't get up there today, but I know they were making substantial improvements on the area for the parking lot. So if you've been up there and looked around at all, you notice the splash pad construction has moved forward a lot here lately. All the features are in position to go in. It's plumbed and wired, et cetera. So again, a lot of the concrete work going on there. We had the playground equipment. I was going to mention this a little later, but we did have the playground equipment installed this weekend, and it's pretty amazing to see all of that. I was there helping out while that was getting put in, so pretty fun to watch all of that. As I mentioned, going from really paper, when you see all these things on paper, to reality when you're there firsthand, boots on the ground installing it. So. And then also, if you recall, we did have that donated contribution for the marimba, known more as a xylophone, I think, to you. But so that did arrive, and that's stored. Jeremy, I think, has been playing with it out at Public Works, but it's in his building out at the Public Works office. So if you want to see it, it's out there, and that'll get installed here a little bit later on. So everything's going pretty well. Just a lot of work to be completed here in the next about 5 weeks. So
Jeremy will be holding a private concert right after the meeting.
You don't want to see my music.
Any questions, Council Scott? Thank you, Scott. Therefore, I'll entertain a motion to approve pay estimate number 7 with regard to the South 15th Street Everybody Plays Park and Inclusive Playground Project to Dean Snyder Construction in the amount of $132,619.05. Motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Mark, seconded by Gary, that we approve pay estimate number 7. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you. 6D, purchase of 2023 Dodge Durango Police Patrol Vehicle from Pritchard's of Clear Lake, Iowa. Review a request, Interim Chief of Police Mike Colby. Welcome, Mike.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You have before you a memo there and some information on a vehicle purchase we'd like to execute this week. This is a budgeted item that we had planned for last year when we submitted the budget and it was approved. So the funds are already there. This is a replacement for the vehicle that was repurposed for the community service officer position, which started in May, and we've been using that May and June, and then this would be the replacement for that. Along with this purchase, we would then cycle out an old vehicle that would also be auctioned off probably at the end of this calendar year, not fiscal year, too. So we did seek some competitive bids there, and our actually cheapest option there was to buy locally from Pritchard's, which was just about $200 less than the state bid price there, too. So we have a benefit of saving a little bit of money there, and then also making a local purchase here as well instead of buying out of the area, too. So it's pretty straightforward there with the pricing and everything. It would be assigned to the criminal investigations division, so it'd be an unmarked vehicle. There's be a little bit upfitting there just so we would have some of the police features there that the officers would need that would use it, but it's going to be one of the lower level purchases for us. There's not a lot of upfitting there for it. Any other questions or anything for the request or proposal there?
Questions of Chief, Interim Chief?
I just mentioned, Chief, we do have currently a Durango in the fleet, and you've had good success with that, as I understand it.
Correct, yeah. Yes, 2 years old. So it's the same, pretty much basic vehicle, just different color, and as they change model years, some of the options change there, but it's pretty much the exact same vehicle.
This is to come from Pritchard's here at Clear Lake.
Correct, that would be from them.
Right.
And like I said, it's a benefit that they buy locally here than actually is a little bit cheaper than the state bid price, which I was a little surprised not there, but it's good for everybody, I think, locally.
Any questions, further questions, Council? Thank you, Mike. Therefore, I entertain a motion to approve purchase from Pritchard's of Clear Lake, Iowa, in the amount of $39,347 with regard to the 2023 Dodge Durango Police Patrol Vehicle. Motion, please.
So offered.
Moved by Mike, seconded by Dana, that we approve the purchase from Pritchard's of the 2023 Dodge Durango. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries 5-0. 7, Interim Chief of Police report. Mike?
Hopefully, Lieutenant Goody did well at the last council meeting when I was not here, but because of my absence, I'll cover our monthly report from July, which I believe you have in front of you there. The whole first page there is pretty much 4th of July information there. We worked hand in hand with the chamber, the fire department, many other members of the community there, and I think we had a very successful July 4th celebration there. If you look at some of the stats at the bottom there, we had officers spend a total of 36 hours and 40 minutes just on foot in the park, which is almost 30 to 40% more time spent there in the park. And I think we've had several comments from both elected officials, city administration, and members of the community about seeing the officers present in the park there and interacting with those that are coming to Clear Lake for the carnival or for the 4th of July or just celebrating some time in the city park there. So I think we saw a lot of success there in the community. We've talked about this in the past, but the severe weather delayed the fireworks on the 4th to the 5th. But again, that was with collaboration with emergency management, National Weather Service, the fire department, city administration, and myself. And I think we made the right call there. And I still think I would have done the same thing again today with the same information there too. So going past the 4th of July, We had the Bash of the Lake, the first annual. I know you guys talked about that the last council meeting. I wasn't here, but I think that was a great success. I guess information from the chamber, we had 5,500-ish people here in the park for the last 2 hours of the park there. And I know Chick-fil-A had their trailer here, and they did an outstanding job. And I've just lots of positive feedback, again, from the officers that worked up there, and then everybody that came into the community there for that day and that afternoon. We're excited, and we're excited to see it back next year, hopefully. A couple other things. Officer Penalty, she made the newsletter there, monthly report. Samantha came to us in December 30th of last year, and she graduated from the academy. And in doing so, she also was able to take some online classes and finish her bachelor's degree. So while she's going through the academy, going through her training here in the field, she also took some extracurricular classes she had to do there for her degree, and received her bachelor's degree. And then, if you remember back to the the June meeting, there were some pictures there of all the pallets of equipment for our dispatch center. That equipment gets installed tomorrow starting. So in the August newsletter, you'll see some photos there, some information of our upgrade that we did. Again, it was a budgeted upgrade that we had paid for through funds that ended in fiscal year 23. And they're actually coming in here to install it tomorrow too. So hopefully have some good update for you guys in 2 weeks, but that goes smoothly there for us. Also on the agenda, I think there is the topic of our off-duty rate. So circling back to the Bash at the Lake, they hired some officers to work off-duty in the park there at a rate of $45 an hour. So the way that works is they come in, they sign a contract with the city. We assign officers up there at our current overtime rate, and they reimburse the city back for the officers working that time for security or to be present or just to help with traffic control. There's other things that we do for, but our rate has slipped behind what our actual hourly rate is for the officers. Average officers overtime rates around $55 an hour, and we're charging $45, so we're kind of losing a little bit of money there. So I had a proposal there for the council to approve a $60 an hour. It's a minimum of 3 hours for those officers that do come in and work those off duties to the cities, covering the hourly cost, and then also some of that fringe benefit that we don't always see on the line items there that the city incurs for IPERS, insurance, and everything there too. So I request your approval for that. And if that is approved, we would have that take effect on September 1st. So just 2 weeks from now. And the last thing I would have for you would be just a situational awareness. We did have a individual come in and apply for a taxi license in the city, and part of that code requires those vehicles be inspected. So Officer Hall, who does our vehicle inspections, did inspect both of those. And if you read the code, it says if they pass that inspection and there is nothing in that individual's background that would say they shouldn't have the license, that the clerk shall issue those permits. I think those will be issued sometime this week. So just, so you're aware, there was a new taxi service that will be available locally in Clear Lake, which is a good thing. There's not a lot of taxi services or Lyft or Uber type services in the community here, so that'll be a service for those that need a ride, both locally here and in the Mason City, Garner, North Central Iowa area too. So that's really it. I would ask for your approval to increase that rate from $45 to $60. I think it's a prudent rate for our officers. I don't know if you need a motion for that or if it just needs to be.
So moved.
Second. I don't know, that can go.
And it got excited.
Any discussion?
You can't hold it.
I think it
down.
passed. Is that what I heard? So moved.
Any discussion? None appearing. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same. Motion carries.
And I think I forgot the most important thing. July, we actually had 2 of our employees had babies in July. So Connor Smith and Mitch Johnson both had their firstborns last month too. So
Yeah,
if you see them around, congratulate them
Yeah.
on behalf of the council, please.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mike, quick question. It's a lot of curiosity about
Yeah.
a lot of cars being broken into recently. Can you give us an update? Do you know
So
anything?
in the last, yes, without going into too many case details, we have had several vehicles that have been broken into. They have all been vehicles that have been left unlocked. They've all been in the middle of the night, and I will tell you the officers have been working well outside what their expectation would be to solve those crimes. And I think we will have a resolution at some point, but without getting into too much detail. The officers are on it, and we have a game plan, and we're proceeding forward.
Thank you.
I would encourage everybody, lock your cars at night. Don't leave valuables in the car.
I see there was one video, but no success with that.
There is a video, and I wouldn't say there's no success, but it is a piece of the puzzle that we are putting together.
Okay,
There's a lot of pieces, but we're putting it together fairly quickly.
all right, good, good. Anything else? Thanks, Mike, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Fire Chief Doug Myers, welcome, Chief.
Thanks, Mayor and Council. First thing, don't forget September 11th. You're all invited to attend the remembrance ceremony we have at the fire station that day. Program will start at 6 o'clock. The speaker we have is coming from Cincinnati, and we have some family ties with him. But he was actually stationed in the Pentagon on September 11th during the attacks. This should be a very interesting perspective.
I'd just add to that, Doug, that's interesting. I hadn't heard that from you yet, but Nelson, remember, we were in D.C. and we were the first few people to see the memorial in the Pentagon where the plane had crashed in. So very sobering, disquieting to see that, but profound.
Sure.
Sobering was not the word. I think that was really shocking to me to see when they pointed out that that plane came right over that hill and in those windows right there.
Okay, kind of a little update of our call volume. Year to date, we're up 20%, and that's predominantly with medical responses. As you know, the first part of the year, we started doing some interfacility transfers. We're averaging 3 a week doing those. So Iowa City, Mayo, Des Moines. Those are basically the 3 places we're going. The real reason, and the part that's on the agenda, the fire department staff, we do scheduled maintenance on all of our apparatus. Here 3 weeks ago, discovered a hydraulic leak on the aerial ladder truck. The truck's a 2011 model year. When we bought it, it cost $670,000. To replace it today would be $1 million. So this hydraulic leak is a part of the truck that turns the aerial ladder itself, rotates it. It's called a rotator gearbox, kind of novel term for something that actually does what it's supposed to do. We had the city mechanic try to identify where the leak was. He wasn't able to find it. So I had one of the technicians from a contract company that the manufacturer used come up and look at it, and he was able to identify what the source is. Got 2 different estimates. One's to rebuild the existing gearbox. To do that would cost anywhere from $12,000 to $14,000, $16,000. They couldn't give us a definite price, but the truck would have to be taken out to Chicago, and we'd be gone for 2 months at a minimum. The other option was to replace that gearbox with a new one. Cost of the equipment plus the mechanic to come up here and actually do it in our station be roughly $15,000 to $16,000. When I talked to the owner of the service company, he said we could utilize our mechanic here plus the tech from Sutphen to help hold those costs down. So it'd be in that $15,000, $16,000 price range to do it. It would take about 2 days to do it. The truck wouldn't leave our station. Currently, we can use the truck as a pumper, an engine company, but we can't use the aerial ladder. And the condition is it will not pass test, certification test. So the ladder truck, the fact that we have it is one of the reasons we're able to lower our ISO rating from a 4 down to a 3. So it's pretty important to have the piece of equipment that actually does what it's supposed to do. So that's what the request is for, and the recommendation is to replace the existing gearbox with a new one.
And Doug, the warranty on this was, you told me, was it a year?
Right.
Yep.
If they use a new component that goes into it, that part would be warranted for a year. With a rebuilt box, 30 days. So, significant difference. The price difference really, in the grand scheme of things, isn't that much different. Of course, if you want to buy a new truck, we're up for that too. But we expect to get another 15 years out of this vehicle. Questions you might have for me?
This is kind of a no-brainer, isn't it?
It is. Unfortunately, your purchasing power doesn't allow me to buy it, so.
I make a motion, we buy it, get it going.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Mike, that we approve the request for approval to authorize ladder truck rotator gearbox repairs in the amount not to exceed $16,000. Is there any discussion? Excuse me, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Where are we on the new truck?
Delivery is still scheduled for right around Thanksgiving. Chassis is sitting down in Breda at the manufacturer plant, the body manufacturer. So it's supposed to go into production here like the second week in September. So,
Yeah.
yep, we're good. So many other companies are delaying their deliveries several months.
Many thanks for what you and the department does in our community. We appreciate it very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you guys for your support. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Excuse me, I have to run though, okay?
Oh, I want to see you run. Let's go. Take care. Take care. Public Work Director's report. Welcome, Jeremy.
Council, not a whole lot for tonight. The overlay project's pretty close to wrapping up. They've been doing the manhole box outs this week. I know they had a bunch of them laid out this evening, the last time I went by, so I'm not sure if they got those all poured back tonight or not, but it looked like they were real close to finishing all that up.
They didn't get it poured.
They didn't? Okay. So I imagine they're planning on doing it bright and early tomorrow. I know we have our crews starting a little bit early tomorrow to do some concrete work as well with the heat, so. Other than that, we're just finishing up a few street patches kind of around the school routes, wanted to get those done before school started. And then, just general maintenance. You had asked him about a truck. Hopefully in the next month, I'll have some bids and some work done on our plow truck that was budgeted for '24. The way it sounds with those companies is that there will be allotments. We'll be able to get the truck. It'll be outfitting it is probably what's going to take the longest, the way it sounds. So, but we had done some legwork earlier in the year to try to get a step up, and it just kind of drug on. And at least now, it sounds like we'll at least get 2 competitive bids out of it now. They'll have pricing and allotments once September hits. So hopefully that works out pretty well, and we'll be able to bring that forward. It probably not looking for delivery until before next winter, maybe. So, but here's what it is. So, other than that, any questions for me?
Council, any questions for Jeremy? Thank you, Jeremy. Under Mayor's report, Chad? CEO, North Iowa Corridor. Welcome, Chad.
I was counting on Stacy having to go. I'm not ready at all for this, but no, thank you, Mayor, Council. Appreciate the opportunity to talk with you again tonight. And just a quick update. Last week we had our first rural economic development summit over at the arena in Mason City, and had a great turnout. I don't have the final number, but last count I had was over 315 people. So really was excited by that, and had folks from all over the place. It was pretty encouraging to see the number of people from North Iowa, and I think we had all the surrounding counties represented in some capacity, and several folks from Des Moines as well. So it was pretty cool to have that. Dr. Cole, who was the keynote speaker, really talked about 10 mega trends. I'm not going to list them all off for you, but 10 mega trends in global economics that really are impacting us at a local level, and he tried to drill in. Really managed to make over an hour of economic discussion entertaining and fun, and he was a pretty funny guy, and had a lot of cool experience that he could share with us. So I was excited by that. Then Debbie Durham, of course, from Iowa Economic Development Authority, Teresa Greenfield from the USDA, and Jeff Plague from the Iowa Banking Association, administration, gave us a really cool takes on things from the state perspective. It was really encouraging. I hadn't really had much interaction with Teresa Greenfield before, but afterwards she just came up. She's like, "Hey, just keep bringing me up here. I want to come up. I want to be involved any way that I can." And USDA is definitely something that we probably could leverage more as a community, and definitely as an organization with the corridor. So that's something that we'll be trying to do. And now that we've kind of got her attention, we'll keep trying to utilize that and take her up in her offer. So very good time with that. We're also starting to see some uptick, I guess, just on the economic development side in office projects again. We have 2 projects that have contacted us in the last few weeks about being interested in Mason City Clear Lake. One of them kind of a smaller scale one, about 4,000 square foot, and the other one interested in anything from 15 to 20. So we don't have a ton of office space in our communities, but it is kind of nice to see that, and they're both organizations that want to be here specifically. So that was a really good thing. So we're working on that and trying to give them a couple of good options. Both of them would be looking for a little bit more into the next year as far as their timeline. So we have a little bit of time on that, but I want to make sure that we know things. So if you guys are aware of good opportunities in the office space, please let me know, and we'll definitely keep those in mind. Also on the schools front, Casey is meeting with the school district here in the next week again on programming for the coming year. She took part in the, and I won't steal Stacy's thunder, but took part in the Chamber's Teacher Appreciation Breakfast last week, and again is meeting to continue putting together kind of the business to school partnership end of the program. So excited to see those things continue to move forward. And then I know Scott's going to hit on the housing award for the BAM development. We also had one. So very excited to see that, get the $1 million for the Twin Home project over in Emerald Edge. I think that'll be moving forward very soon. Those guys are great developers. We also got a $1 million award for a project over in Mason City on a 36-unit complex. So really, and Garner got one as well on a little bit smaller scale, but excited to see those kind of developments and investments in North Iowa.
And I'm just going to thank you, Chad and Stacy, both of you, for partnering with us on that application. You guys coordinated a lot of letters of support for those, not only for our project, but again, congratulations to Mason City. Is very competitive program. So for, again, North Iowa, Garner also received an award, not nearly as much, but for, I think, about 9% of the funds that were allocated to be coming to this immediate area is pretty significant. So really a positive thing. I think they funded less than 50% of the applications. They had about $78 million or something in applications and about $35 million to work with. So just want to recognize you guys and appreciate your help.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. It's important. We've been talking about our housing situation for a long time, so bringing in some affordable, quality, market rate units is a big deal for us. Also was able to connect another apartment developer with Emerald Edge folks and have some possibilities. They met last week. So have some things in the works on that as well. That would be exciting. And again, we need some quality apartments in Clear Lake, and so hope that can move forward, be a really good developer for this community. So a lot of positive things in the works, and we'll keep on plugging away on them.
Questions for Chad? Thank you, Chad. Stacy, welcome. Chamber of Commerce.
Mayor, Council, last Thursday was a busy one for us. We had our Educators Appreciation Breakfast, which Chad mentioned, and what we do is we have businesses sponsor an appreciation event for our teachers. We bring them a big hot breakfast. It's very embarrassing. All of the teachers and entire community school district staff, they get gifts from all of these business sponsors, and so it's just a great way for us to welcome back everybody involved with the Clear Lake Community School District. Over 240 people received hot breakfast, gifts, and just appreciation for what they're going to do when our kids go back to school this week. From there, I went to the Economic Development Forum. It was very well attended. It was great conversation. A lot of people interested in continuing to keep the positive ball rolling here in North Iowa, and so it was really nice to see that event be so well attended. And then at the end of the day, we had our final Thursdays on Main for the year, and so it's a bittersweet day for us because it kind of marks the end of summer but it's also, we get a little bit more time instead of week to week having to execute events. We get a couple months between events. And I just want to say big thanks to Jeremy's team who brings the barricades in and out every single week. Acting Chief Colby, your team has been awesome. They've been on the ground, in the dunk tank. They've just been a really great positive presence this year during Thursdays on Main. And then Jim, you guys, whenever we make a phone call about anything we need from a parks perspective, they are always answering with a smile. And so we just really appreciate the support that we get from the city in order to have these events that our residents love, that our residents attend, and just increases the quality of life here in Clear Lake. One event that's coming up that I want to make sure you guys have on your calendar is Friday, September 1st at 1 p.m. We will be having a seawall rededication and National Historic Places plaque reveal ceremony. So hope you can join us on that Friday before Labor Day for us to celebrate the reconstructed seawall and its addition to the National Historic Places Registry. Any questions?
Any questions for Stacy? Looking forward to that September 1st.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great time. What time was that, Stacy?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. All right, finish up on Mayor's report. We were very fortunate, as Stacy just said, to be able to work many times with our school district and our city government, and that's really what was involved in our recognition by the Iowa League of Cities for the All-Star Community Award for medium-sized communities for 2023. The Small Town Award was just north of us, the Northwood Viking Activity Center, with our Clear Lake Athletic and Wellness Center, and Davenport was a large community with their particular project. I look at this as the Community Citizens Award, to have a community where the school board and the city council and their administrators can work together to build a facility such like this is very, very encouraging for any community, especially ours. That proposal came about really in this room. Scott mentions it frequently, in which several of us got together and discussed, is this appropriate for our community at the present time? And all the heads around that particular table at that time indicated that that was a positive. Therefore, after that, the school and community officials got together and went around to the community holding open public meetings prior to the bond issue being voted upon in the spring of 2020. Several of those meetings were out in different places within the community so that the various citizens could come and look at how that building was going to be done, who was going to be doing it, and when it would be complete. And it came down to a fact that 70% of our community voted in favor or approval of that. The bond issue had to have at least 60, and to get 70% is rare indeed. Atura Architecture was the architectural firm who designed and planned the construction of the center. Dean Snyder Construction happened to be the builder. And to this day, it is a fantastic center for the citizens of all ages within our community. 2 wooden regulation basketball courts. I'll go through this quickly. Turf area for games and training, pickleball courts, interior 6-lane track, volleyball courts, activity and fitness room, child supervised play area, strength and mobility area with fitness equipment, upper level 3-lane exercise track, 2 locker rooms with shower stalls and steam rooms, and a concession area. A very active school and city partnership with youth, middle school, high school, adult, and yes, us gray hairs have fitness programs and events in that area. Present memberships, we have 900 contract. Now, that could be a family contract, small work contract, et cetera, which amounts to 2,300 individual memberships in that facility at the present time. Keep in mind, our city population as of 2020 census is 7,600. I think that's quite a big percentage. They're making use of that facility. Both school staff and wellness staff conduct athletic and fitness programs for all areas and all educated levels. Many thanks to all of those who went together, including the city's administration, the school administration, and all of those folks within the community. We will receive that award at the annual League of Cities Conference this year, being held in Cedar Rapids during September 2021 and 22. A great award, and I have to mention the Fiscus Planscape folks were also involved in this. So it truly was a citizen effort in this case, and we have that building is being used very, very much. The old boy here has to get up at 5 in the morning to crawl out there, but it's to his benefit, I sure hope, in the long run. Thou shalt see. Okay, we'll move on to city administrator's report. Scott?
Thank you, Mayor. Not much left. I do want to mention, since Cheryl's here and she's on the school board, thank you and the rest of the board for your support, as Nelson mentioned, on the Wellness Center project. It couldn't have happened without you, so thank you. And also thank you to Stacy for mentioning the seawall dedication ceremony. Looking forward to that, along with everyone else as well. I just wanted to mention again that give you a heads up for the September 18th meeting. We'll have a schematic presentation regarding the surf district. So just a heads up on that one. That's all I've got.
Anything else, council? Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.